Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much to everyone for having me here. I've actually been an attendee at ResponsiCon since 2019, and I'm just very gifted and honored to be a day sponsor for today's event. This is kind of my nutshell right now. So I do have 2 different tech businesses that I'm working on, while focusing on helping other entrepreneurs achieve their goals through the gift of coaching. I've been a Conquer coach for the last 2.5 years, and it's something that I take very seriously. For me, it's an opportunity to be very impactful and to give back to the people who I learned so much from. I started my business in 2008, and it was a real slog to get going. I was actually in my 2nd year of business studies at college, and basically with a rented minivan and a borrowed ladder, we were up in business as a window cleaning business. So basically back then, things were really simple, right? At the end of the day, my end-all goal was, could I afford tuition at the end of the summer, okay? Fast forward to 15 years later, I'm gonna show you on the next slide, we grew things quite substantially. And basically 1 year ago, I talked about how I had a potential exit on the go, and I'm thankful to report that that actually went through. So in a super non-braggy fashion, it was a 7-figure exit, and most importantly, the terms of the deal were it was all cash. And the terms of the deal are actually more important than the price. So I'm very proud to basically have freed up my time so that I can focus on things that mean a lot to me in addition to my family. So Bonus Up is a product that has been really a labor of love for the last 3 years. Basically, it does performance pay bonus systems for home service businesses, okay? It's the whole concept of we want to recognize and reward our superhero technicians for doing really great work, okay? When you do that, you create a sense of alignment where the technicians, they care about the same things you care about, right? If you want them to go out and have that healthy urgency and treat your customer like gold and get reviews and upsells, you can achieve that in a fashion through performance pay that basically recognizes and rewards them through the power of incentives. NinjaVA actually is only 1 year old, but it came from a place of necessity. This is 2019 where my company was at. We actually grew it to 3 separate locations. We had 15 crews out on the road, and I don't call us seasonal in terms of a business, I called us hyper-seasonal, okay? So when it got busy all at once. To give you a point of reference, we would go from 2 technicians in February to 32 technicians in May every single year. That was like our normal standard operation. And what makes that even more difficult to manage is I'd be lucky if I had 6 returning faces on the crew at that time, okay? So definitely hyper-seasonal. I want to share a story about something that basically led me to NinjaVA. So there I was in a busy office. As you can imagine, with 15 crews on the road, we go through 2,500 jobs in a single year, okay? So to Caleb's point earlier, we were a very hungry beast, okay? We had a ton of volume, and that certainly extends above and beyond just the point of the crews doing the work itself, okay? There's a ton of administrative requirement in order to keep that super clean, organized, and profitable, right? So I rewind back to that day where I was sitting in the office, and we had 4 full-time CSRs answering calls, sending out quotes, booking jobs, doing all the administrative, basically everything leading up to the job and then everything after the job, okay? And I was sitting there in an open concept office. We were all kind of scattered around, so it was a little bit noisy at times. And as you do as the owner, I was kind of doing my task, but also kind of listening with one ear to what else was going on, right? It's kind of like that sleep with one eye open idea. I was overhearing a call that was unfolding through one of my CSRs, and you could kind of tell the tempo was not great to begin with, okay? There was something going on. So naturally, I'm a little bit more focused on what's going on. Well, turns out the customer was explaining they were super confused because they just received a window cleaning, but they're not a customer of ours, okay? What had happened is the quote becomes the work order, becomes the invoice. Well, somebody messed up on the quote and they put in the wrong address, okay? And truth be told, this was actually just one of a number of different issues that we were experiencing in our office, okay? All in all, it was a super clunky operation, if I were to summarize it, okay? We had one lady that was super, super emotional. I swear I'm a nice guy, but I swear every single day she left crying for whatever reason, okay? We had another person where he really struggled to get in on time and to be present each and every day for work. We had another lady who she was delightful to deal with and to interact with, but she couldn't get the details for the life of her. The attention to detail was just non-existent. So all in all, in that month, truth be told, we were doing $285,000 in revenue, and when your administrative side is really suffering, that makes your life really quite chaotic and turbulent, okay? As this call was unfolding, and I'm learning that we've cleaned the wrong home by virtue of an error, I got frustrated at that person, but also at myself, right? Because at the end of the day, we have to hold ourselves accountable, right? The buck stops here. I either hired that person or I didn't train them properly. Whatever the case was, though, I was just deeply frustrated with the overall situation. It was one thing that we had just cleaned the wrong home, but in reality, this was actually the second time that week we had done the same mistake. So at that point, I knew something had to change, right? This is not productive, it's not effective, it's not working. Unfortunately, over the next 2 weeks then, I had to do something that was really quite crappy. I had to go through and I ended up firing all 4 of those people. And that sucked because you know what? At least 50% of that problem is on me, okay? I don't know if y'all have fired techs before. I feel like with techs, you can kind of like, yes, it sucks, but in some respects, it's kind of like it's a little bit more of a cold relationship. Having to terminate an admin staff, I don't know what it is, but it's just a really tricky thing, right? And I had to do it 4 times on end, and we essentially cleaned house, and we were starting fresh. And that's really what got us onto the track of virtual assistants for home services and for trades businesses, okay? What we've done is we've applied our ability to staff from 2 people to 32 people using a very dialed-in funnel in order to get what is usually a 1 in 200 ratio of candidate, okay? We've also implemented some really cool tech solutions to really truly bridge the gap in a way that's not commonly used in the space of virtual assistants. I'm super excited and passionate about this business because ultimately our end-all mission is we want to help save 1,000 business owners each 1,000 hours of time, okay? And that's a very powerful thing because at the end of the day, all we have is time here. So if we can give you back your time and then even above and beyond that, give you the opportunity to focus on tasks that bring you energy versus take your energy, then that's a pretty cool thing. And we can do it en masse with this product. The concept of valuing your time is really quite an important one for entrepreneurs to grasp. Inside of Conquer, we coach the idea of what is the value of your time, okay? And it can be simply illustrated here. We have certain tasks that will inevitably fill our day. We have $15 an hour tasks, we have $50 an hour tasks, and we have $500 an hour tasks, okay? $15 an hour tasks, an example is the phone's ringing. A ringing phone needs to be answered. We have a trivial email that we have to respond to. We have to book a job in our CRM. These are all pretty trivial tasks that can be easily systematized. $50 an hour work is placing a significantly higher value on the time that's spent doing that stuff, okay? So this could be maybe going to the morning meeting and having a chat with all of your team while they're there. That's pretty instrumental work, right? This could be maybe making sure we have what we need at the beginning of the day so that we don't avoid, or so that we can avoid a really costly error, okay? And then when we get to $500 an hour work, this is where it really moves the business needle forward, okay? Some examples of $500 an hour work is hiring a rock star technician, okay? If you spend your time in that lane, you're talking high value work. Maybe forming some really big relationships. We call it whale fishing, right? Those ones are not gonna populate in your calendar tomorrow or next week. They're gonna be months down the road, but man, when they hit, they will be significant. And if you have the opportunity of being in an industry that's repeatable, that could be like a long-standing, massive client, right? So the concept here, though, unfortunately, is if you're spending the time in the $15 an hour category, those things need to be taken care of before we have the ability to step forward into the 50 or the 500, okay? And as business owners, sometimes we kind of relish ourselves in the chaos, right? We become firefighters because whatever has to happen is what I'm up against, right? But if we don't take that time and realize where we're spending the majority of our time, when it comes to multiplying out an average work year of 2,000 hours, there's a vastly different outcome in terms of what you can expect in terms of your annual contribution to your company. We're ranging from $30,000 a year all the way up to $1 million a year of contribution. And that's where virtual assistants come in, okay? Now, at the end of the day, with NinjaVA, we realized very early on that sometimes, I think, talking to other clients, we have this expectation that when a VA comes in, they're gonna be amazing. They're gonna walk on water, they're gonna make no errors, it's gonna be incredible, right? They could even be CEO if I wanted a break for a day, right? What we found, though, is their blood is red, just like ours, and there's some really great ones, and there's a lot of ones that probably don't meet your needs and don't have the caliber that you're excited by. So what we've done is we've created a funnel that we've used very similarly, going from 2 technicians to 32 technicians in my home service business, and applied the same concept to the world of virtual assistants. And on average, when you see a candidate in your account for review, the ratio literally is 200 initial applicants to 1 single candidate for review. The other parts that we baked into NinjaVA were really along the line of tech, right? Having come from developing Bonus Up, we've had the ability and the opportunity to really excel in these areas. So we've created a platform that can do a lot of cool things when it comes to onboarding a VA. Just by quick show of hands here, who has a VA in their company already? Good, decent amount. And who would be interested or have heard about the concept and is kind of poking around, kind of curious? Okay, awesome. So we've basically built out a portal and a system where a lot of the inevitable things that you're gonna run into when you bring on a VA can basically provide you with a solution so that it's a much cleaner and easier process in the end. So first and foremost, the amazing candidates is one that we don't want to understate, okay? Because at the end of the day, no amount of technology, no amount of technology is going to suffice if at the end of the day, the caliber of your VA is not up to par, right? So this is something we take very, very seriously. This person should be able to answer the phone because the first thing we filter down our candidates with is the ability to speak and write in English with as minimal accent as possible. In addition to that, though, through the NinjaVA portal, we have the ability to essentially pay for your VA using a credit card, okay? It's great for cash back or earning travel points. But in addition to that too, in the world of VAs, you don't have to pay for burdens, okay? So there's no workers' comp, there's no payroll taxes. You only have to pay sales tax, which is really cool. The year we deployed virtual assistants in place of in-person admin staff, we saved $70,000 in our overhead in admin. The next one is ongoing support. So I really use the metaphor, I'm basically your real estate agent, okay? As you're buying a home, you're gonna have your ups and then you're gonna have your downs. Sometimes things go sideways, right? I'm here, though, to support the whole way through the process. And ultimately, when we do a placement, we give you a 12-month guarantee that if this person doesn't work out, we'll happily swap them out. If something happens where you're not really sure what's going on, maybe this is your first admin employee or your first remote employee, I'm here to assist all the way through the process. And it's as simple as one Facebook message, audio note away. We also have something really cool called Ninja School. So Ninja School is a portal inside of the software where your VAs basically have access to free courses. So they can learn Facebook ads. They could learn Google My Business optimization. They can learn entry-level Canva, stuff that can make them more valuable in addition to the day-to-day basic operations. And then we have the Ninja portal, which I'm going to show you here shortly. So when you log into NinjaVA, this is the overview of your relationship with your VA. So it does do the time tracking. When they log in, it's basically like Upwork. So if they're on shift, you see that they're working and on the clock. And in addition to that, you actually get live screen grabs while they're working, okay? You also have the ability to give them a bonus, give them a raise, see timesheets. But the cool thing here is this all happens in the background. So we take care of the weekly payroll, the international money transfers, and you don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to lift a finger. The screen grabs are really cool. We actually have our own developer in the Philippines working through our account, so at any moment, I can see what he's doing. I can't tell you if he's doing a good job, because that looks like Greek, but I know exactly what he's up to, okay? This is the whole concept that we like the idea of getting somebody in who's keen, detail-oriented, who's super motivated, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure they're staying on focus and that our hard-earned dollars are going to a place that's going to bring our company more value, okay? And that's what this system does. The whole concept of getting a VA is you want to leverage your time and you want to free yourself up so you can do other things. So in my opinion, the whole concept of getting onboarded should abide by those same principles, okay? So if you were to get onboarded, you would basically see 3 candidates here. You're going to see their average scores on a variety of assessments we put them through, and then you're going to see what their hourly cost is. Now, after the placement fee, this hourly cost is all you'll ever pay, and it's usually between $8 to $10 an hour. And like anything in HR, you usually get what you pay for, okay? Once you click into one, you get an introduction interview, so you can gauge how well they speak, what their energy level's like, what their outlook is like, and ultimately use this as an opportunity to see if it would be a good fit for not only you, but also for them, right? So my mission here is I want to create really long-lasting relationships with you and your potential VA. So in my opinion, we have to communicate on both sides what we're looking for and to make sure that inevitably expectations are going to be managed, okay? This is kind of the first step of that. We also give you a variety of different assessments and how they scored. And the idea here is, again, if we're looking for that 1 in 200 candidate, we want to make sure that they're super high caliber, right? The step after this is really quite simple. We jump on a 3-person group interview. And again, the sole aim, although it is called an interview, the sole aim of that interview is to ensure that it would be a good fit for both the VA as well as for yourself, okay? We're gonna deal with all of the tactical stuff, what our expectations are, what the different duties and responsibilities are, but then we're also gonna learn a little bit more about them, what they're looking for, what type of a role do they want, making sure all the logistics check out, etc. And the last screen here is our academy. So we have a full built out course load of onboarding videos to get you and your business ready for a VA to hop on board. Then we also have those courses that I mentioned, which is a growing list. We have a full-time course creator working on those. And then at the end, we also have room for files. So this is one of the things I'm really gonna be focusing on a lot in the coming weeks, is creating documents and resources that are gonna fuel your journey with your VA. This one specifically is really cool. So it's a job description generator, and it basically answers the question, what can my VA do in a home service or a trades business? I'm gonna give you the link to that at the end, but as an idea, some of the coverings that we go over inside of the NinjaVA portal are something like this. So one of the big stumbling blocks that a lot of people have in a home service business is they don't know how they can make their VA understand their local turf, their local geography, where they service, where they don't, right? So this is like one of the trainings that I'm working on right now. So if you go to Google My Maps, it gives you the opportunity to actually design a custom map that you can then share with your VA. In my company, we had this actually transposed on a 10-foot wall, and we named each of the neighborhoods similar to how you see an airport code, right? So Upper Sahali was UPSA. So at a glance of the calendar, I knew exactly where that job was located. And when we took that system and made it available to our VAs, what they can actually do through Google My Maps is they can search an address, it points them into a waypoint inside of a neighborhood, and when they zoom out, they see exactly where that job's located. Okay? You can also plot where your shop space is, where your suppliers are, and ultimately, if they're gonna be doing dispatching or job bookings, this puts them in a position where they can just be much more logical in their routing for your company. Okay, so this is just kind of a snippet as to the type of things that we've encountered and created systems around that we're making available to other home service and trades business owners. I am running some hacking stations here this week, and it's a bunch of different things like this that we'll be going over. So I'd love to see you there. If you are interested in getting that free VA guide, if you scan this link or go to ninjava.com/ that's actually supposed to say go, it's cut off. You can basically log into your own demo account. You can have access to all those onboarding videos that I've created, and at the very bottom, you're gonna also see this PDF ready for download. Other than that, I just wanna say thank you so much to Kurt for allowing me this opportunity. I've been a loyal attendee since 2019. What you guys are exposed to here was really instrumental in my business journey. So hopefully you can take it home, you can implement it, and ultimately create the life that you're looking for. And if you can do it through the power of virtual assistants, freeing up your time so you can focus on what matters more, maybe that's friends, maybe that's family, maybe that's health, maybe that's religion, then you're gonna lead yourself to a much more fulfilled life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brent.